CoCo Vandeweghe gives her opinion on Filipino tennis fans who are following Eala. The Philippines' latest sporting hero continued her impressive start to the 2026 season by defeating CoCo Gauff earlier this week. Eala dominated the contest before Gauff was forced to retire at 2-6, 0-2 due to a left arm injury. Eala's fans, as has become commonplace on the WTA Tour, filled out the stadium in California and created the Filipinas fans are widely regarded as some of the most dedicated on tour, attending Eala's matches no matter where she is on the planet. CoCo Vandeweghe, the former world number 9 and US Open semifinalist, has offered her take on Eala's fans while speaking to a notable former Filipina tennis player. CoCo Vandeweghe has been left amazed by Filipino fans. Ahead of Eala's fourth-round match against Linda Noskova, CoCo Vandeweghe spoke to Diane Castillo about the Filipinas' impact on the sport. Castillo, who is also from the Philippines, became the first Filipina in tennis history to achieve a WTA ranking when she competed on the WTA Tour during the 1980s. Since then, she has gone on to become a successful journalist, most notably working as a sports interviewer for ABS-CBN Sports. Another raucous atmos in the ever-evolving world of professional tennis. New stars occasionally emerge who ignite excitement far beyond the boundaries of the sport. Eala, the young Filipino tennis sensation, has become one of those rare athletes whose rise carries not only personal ambition but the pride of an entire nation. Wherever she plays, a sea of Filipino flags, cheers, and passionate supporters follows. Recently, former American tennis star and commentator CoCo Vandeweghe shared her thoughts on this growing phenomenon, the enthusiastic Filipino fanbase that travels across tournaments to support Eala. For Vandeweghe, the story of Eala and her fans is more than a simple case of crowd support. It represents something deeper, the emotional power of representation in sports. A new energy in tennis. Tennis has long been a sport defined by tradition and etiquette. Quiet crowds, respectful applause, and controlled reactions have always been part of the game's culture. Yet when Eala steps onto the court, something slightly different happens. Filipino supporters often arrive early, waving flags and chanting her name. They stay through late-night matches, sometimes braving cold conditions or long waits just to catch a glimpse of their rising star. At tournaments like Indian Wells, fans lined up hours before her matches, proudly wearing shirts declaring themselves members of the Eala fan club. For some traditionalists, this kind of energy feels unusual in tennis. But for Vandeweghe, it's refreshing. Watching Eala interact with fans, signing autographs, taking photos, and embracing the attention, Vandeweghe praised the young Filipino player's connection with her supporters. She noted that the enthusiasm surrounding Eala is great for tennis, because it brings new audiences and new excitement to the sport. Passion that crosses borders. Eala's journey itself is remarkable. Born in the Philippines, she trained at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain and rose quickly through the junior ranks, even winning the 2022 US Open Girls title. Her success continued on the professional circuit, including historic victories over top players and becoming the first Filipina to break into the WTA Top 100. With every milestone, her fanbase has grown. Filipinos around the world, whether in Manila, California, Dubai, or Melbourne, feel a sense of pride when Eala competes. For many, she represents a breakthrough moment in a sport where the Philippines historically had little presence. That pride translates into energy inside the stadium. Fans wave their national flags, cheer loudly between points, and celebrate her victories with the same intensity usually seen in basketball or boxing arenas. Some critics have even questioned whether this enthusiasm is too loud for tennis. But Vandeweghe sees the bigger picture, a sign of tennis growing globally. From Vandeweghe's perspective, the excitement surrounding Eala is a reminder that tennis is becoming more global than ever before. For decades, the sport was dominated by players from Europe, the United States, and Australia. Today, new stars are emerging from Asia, Africa, and South America. Each brings their own culture and their own fans into the sport. The presence of Filipino supporters in large numbers signals that tennis is reaching communities that once felt distant from the professional circuit. Whenever you see fans traveling and filling stadiums for one player, that's a sign the sport is expanding, Vandeweghe suggested during commentary. The passion surrounding Eala shows that tennis is attracting audiences far beyond its traditional base. In other words, the noise, the cheers, and the flags are not disruptions. They are signs of growth. The Eala effect. Sports writers have even started referring to the phenomenon as the Eala effect. Wherever she plays, crowds seem larger and more energetic. Filipino fans often wait long hours just to watch her practice sessions or warm-ups. This kind of support can be powerful for a young athlete. Eala herself has spoken about how meaningful it is to see so many supporters around the world. Even while traveling constantly on the tour, the presence of Filipino fans makes her feel at home. For Vandeweghe, that emotional connection between player and supporters is exactly what professional sports need. Tennis is not only about ranking points or prize money, it's about stories, inspiration, and communities coming together around a shared dream. Respecting tradition while embracing change. Of course, tennis still values sportsmanship and etiquette. There are moments when crowds must remain quiet so players can concentrate. Even enthusiastic fans must learn the rhythms of the sport, when to cheer, when to stay silent, and how to respect both competitors. But Vandeweghe believes that passionate support and respectful behavior can coexist. Many Filipino fans are relatively new to tennis, learning the traditions of the sport as they go. Yet their love for Eala and their pride in her achievements remain undeniable. Rather than criticizing the energy they bring, Vandeweghe suggests that the tennis world should welcome it. After all, sports evolve when new audiences embrace them. A symbol of national pride. The story of Eala is about more than just tennis matches. It's about representation. For millions of Filipinos, seeing one of their own compete against the world's best players carries emotional weight. Her success symbolizes possibility for young athletes across the country who dream of following the same path. And when fans gather in stadiums, waving flags, cheering loudly, and celebrating every point, they're expressing that collective pride. Vandeweghe understands that. In her eyes, the passionate Filipino crowds are not merely spectators. They are part of the narrative that makes Eala's rise so compelling. The future of the movement. As Eala continues her journey through the professional tour, the presence of Filipino supporters will likely grow even stronger. Each victory adds momentum. Each tournament attracts more attention. And with every match, the Eala effect spreads further across the tennis world. For commentators like CoCo Vandeweghe, this movement is something to celebrate.